completely different.
Whoa! Happy Hot Topic!
And we learned more overnight about Mangione's background from his friends and family.
This pretty boy looks like such a tool. And I feel bad for anybody that's romanticizing him. You are psychotic. And we'll get to that in a sec.
The man charged with murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was valedictorian at his Maryland prep school in
It's always the smart ones.
2016. He spoke about challenging the world.
Having great ideas, however, isn't enough to innovate.
Like murdering somebody and ruining my life over back pain.
The class of 2016's
that my family could have paid for.
Inventiveness also stems from its incredible courage to explore the unknown and try new things.
Luigi Mangione attended an all-boys academy in Baltimore with...
That's what messed him up. An all-boys academy, and it's in Baltimore? Like the most violent city on the East Coast?
An annual tuition of nearly $40,000. A former classmate calls him a humble student.
Really not a problematic kid in high school. He'd never really got in trouble, wasn't attention seeking or
I bet he banged a lot of girls, huh?
anything like that. Just a bright kid with a bright future.
Seems like everybody liked him, which is kind of weird. Like, we're not hearing anybody say, oh yeah, he's a real tool.
Mangione went on to earn a master's in engineering at the University of Pennsylvania.
Now you get to teach science to a bunch of people in prison for life.
According to a LinkedIn account appearing to be Mangione's, he started working as a data engineer, but friends and family say they lost touch with him about 6 months ago.
Yeah, he went real psychotic. I'm thinking that he's going to wake up in about 6 months when this manic episode's over and be like, I really ruined my life over back pain.
No one really got a response from him. And then the next time that he kind of came up was in this news cycle.
Mangione also lived in Hawaii for a short time. His roommate says he never spoke about violence.
He was absolutely a not violent person.
This is all his friends and family trying to go, he was a good guy, though. Yeah, he killed somebody in cold blood. But I swear he's a good guy. Shut up.
As far as I could tell.
Mangione had posted a review of the infamous manifesto by Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, saying Kaczynski was a violent individual rightfully imprisoned who maimed innocent people. But Mangione added that Kaczynski was able to recognize that peaceful protest has gotten us absolutely nowhere, and at the end of the day, he's probably right.
Unfortunately, he's got a point. This dude's so psychotic. All these girls romanticizing him, I'll get to you in a sec.
Probably right. The Baltimore Banner newspaper reports Mangione's late grandfather was a self-made real estate developer who owned country clubs and nursing homes.
You literally have the access to everything in the world, but you kill somebody, and you had the money to get your back fixed. Just ask your parents to do something else. I don't know.
People who know Mangione are expressing disbelief that he's now charged with murder.
Alrighty, so there was that. And then this one is very much happy hour type, energy, talking about his dating life.
Whoa! Happy Hot Topic!
New details surrounding Luigi Mangione's life are coming to light. According to his friend RJ Martin, who is the founder of the Hawaiian co-living space Surf Break, where Mangione resided in 2022, the 26-year-old, who has been charged with murder in connection to United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's December 4th shooting, suffered from painful back issues that affected his romantic relationships.
That sucks. Even if my back hurts, I'm like, oh, just lay down, you can ride me.
As Martin tells the New York Times in an interview published December 9th, his spine was kind of misaligned. He said his lower vertebrae were almost like a half-inch off, and I think it pinched a nerve. Due to the pain, Martin says Mangione, quote, knew that dating and being physically intimate with his back condition was impossible. Mangione left Hawaii in 2023, according to Martin, and says the University of Pennsylvania graduate, quote, sent me back pictures of his back surgery when he checked up on him throughout text that August. And though the two sporadically traded texts in the following months, Martin says he never saw Mangione in person again. Mangione was arrested on December 9th at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania.
All right, so we know that. Well, I got a few more news clips here. But let me tell you, this next rant is not about anybody in particular. So if there's anybody out there that thinks like, I don't know, they think like, oh, he's talking about me with this rant. I'm talking about all of you. Mm-hmm. Not just you or you, but I'm talking about all of you. If you find Luke Mangione attractive or think that Luke Mangione should be found innocent, or you think that it was okay with what he did because healthcare prices are high, that sets a bad precedent for this world. That means that anybody can get murdered at any time if we disagree with something. And this just in, I don't think that's really good. These are the same people that go, we need to stop shootings in school. We need to have gun control. Oh, but Luke Mangione killing a CEO in cold blood, that's fine. Yeah, let's just have shootings everywhere. It's going to end real well. We're already repeating the past. Are we going to be in a world war in 2020 or like 2040-ish rather? Is this the route we're going down? I mean, seriously, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's ridiculous. We have romanticized murder so much. Because of the murder podcast and the murder TikToks. We got these beautiful influencers talking about guys' heads getting chopped off, and then they're wondering why they don't feel safe on dates because not every guy's a bad guy. Okay, I know that's hard to believe. I know you want to think that every guy wants to murder you, but no, we just want to have sex and fuck. Here's the thing, though. Luke Mangione would kill you. You think, oh, I'll date Luke Mangione. He'll be good to me. He killed somebody in cold blood. You think that's a good guy? How naturally he did it. Also, there's these two words that are very controversial that might rile up racist people. What's the word? What's it called? White privilege. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if that was a black man named Jamarcus? I don't even want to say a last name, but or let's say it was Ty or some really black name. You think everybody be going, yeah. Listen, I have no racist energy in my heart, but do you think the white people that are applauding him would go, yeah, you go, Jamarcus. You're all weird. You're watching too much murder documentaries. That was somebody's husband. That was somebody's father. That was somebody's son, somebody's friend. I know that he probably was a scumbag, both of them. I know that Brian Townsend probably wasn't a good dude, blah, 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 very greedy, but you can't just kill somebody.
Luigi Mangione's writings may offer insight into his alleged actions. The 26-year-old, who is a person of interest in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, was carrying 3 pages of notes when he was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, December 9th. Law enforcement officials told NBC News. Mangione wrote, I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming.
The word parasite's a very strong word. Like whenever I hear the word parasite, it just gets me thinking.
The writings, characterized by the New York Police Department as being less than 300 words long, also included a message to investigators.
Whatever.
It continued, to the feds, I'll keep this short because I do respect what you do for our country. To
really?
save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. Despite the assertion,
Is he like our modern day Ted Bundy where women are going to romanticize him?
officials said they have not ruled out the involvement of others. The document was also critical of the American healthcare
Of course there were other people involved.
industry, including United Healthcare specifically, as well as large corporations, according to the officials, who said there are concerns within law enforcement that the writings could inspire similar acts.
That's the problem, is we keep making these murderers famous and then it keeps happening. Adam Lanza, James Holmes, all those guys from the 2010s, we know their names forever.
Following his arrest, Mangione was charged with 1 count of murder, 3 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, and 1 count of possession of a forged instrument.
I'm just looking at him in his mugshot, and it's showing him in this room that looks closed off, so I don't know if he's in solitary confinement, but I will tell you that there's this look on his face of like he's not so like gangster. Like he thought he was so cool and he was smiling at that girl that he was flirting with. But now you look at him, he looks, I don't know. It's just like you had access to everything. I can't stand rich people that are born with money and then create their own problems. It's like you're literally set for life.
According to court documents seen by NBC News. In addition to the aforementioned charges, which were filed in New York, Mangione was also charged in Pennsylvania with forgery, carrying a firearm without a license, tampering with records or identification, possessing instruments of crime, and providing false identification to law enforcement, according to the outlet.
So there is that. And then I found this headline really interesting here. Right here.
26-year-old Luigi Mangione resisting sheriff's deputies as he entered the courthouse in Pennsylvania Tuesday, shouting at cameras.
I'm completely out of touch and insult the intelligence of the American people.
Oh, you're so smart because you murdered somebody. Now he thinks because he's got all these fans that he's something. You're all a bunch of losers.
Mangione is charged with murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Midtown Manhattan in a brazen shooting that sparked a days-long manhunt. His attorney says they will fight efforts to extradite him to New York, potentially slowing down the process for weeks.
For the record, he's pleading not guilty to this. And I've seen...
This is his lawyer. Why do the worst lawyers come out of the woodworks for people that are so obviously guilty? Him, did he?
Weeks.
For the record, he's pleading not guilty to this.
He sounds like every listener of a morning radio show that comes to an event with the radio show. Hey, this is Louie from Bradenton, Florida.
Weeks.
For the record, he's pleading not guilty to this. And I've seen zero evidence at this point.
Oh, yeah, the whole video of him walking down the street singing do-ah-dee-dee-dee-dee-dum while shooting. Yeah, what about that?
These new photos released by local police show the moments before officers detain the alleged murderer. And now more background on the suspect's possible thinking emerging. NBC News learning that in an internal NYPD analysis, investigators are looking into whether Mangione had grievances against the healthcare industry, possibly...
No, of course he did. It's the stupidest analysis. We think it might be... Come on now.
Seeing the killing as a, quote, symbolic takedown in a fight against corporate power games. Police also say Mangione was carrying a 3-page handwritten document. 3 senior law enforcement officials tell NBC News the notes were critical of the healthcare industry in the U.S., and specifically United Healthcare. Writing in part, I do apologize for any strife or traumas, but it had to be done. Mangione wrote that he acted alone, but while the NYPD says there's no indication he had help, they have not ruled out the possibility. This morning, the NYPD also warning of copycats. And Mangione has seen some support online in the wake of the shooting, with many expressing frustration with the healthcare industry. Officials have been pushing back and urging calm.
But this guy's not a hero. He's not a hero. If you have any issues with somebody, we don't go out there and commit violence. We don't go out there and...
Thank you, sir. Smartest thing I heard all day.
This guy committed cold-blooded murder.
Investigators are still looking very closely at that 3D printed weapon that he had. They're trying to determine whether he got it from somebody else, according to a senior law enforcement official, or whether he actually built it himself.
We'll find that out. And then there is this.
I've been in this case probably about 12, 14 hours, maybe whatever, give or take. And I haven't seen a speck of evidence at all.
This is his lawyer on CNN.
Argued today at the extradition hearing. I still haven't received details about the charges that he's facing in New York. I heard your introduction and looking into that. But so we as lawyers need to make informed decisions, and we need to get our hands and our eyes on some evidence.
Luigi Mangione's attorney is claiming he has gotten offers from members of the public.
A lot of those lawyers, they make you think he's innocent so much that you start to go, what was the question? They're very good at gaslighting.
To pay for his client's legal fees, Pennsylvania attorney Thomas Dickey appeared on CNN, and while he would not reveal who had retained him to represent Mangione, he spoke about the support his client has received.
I have received some emails. I have not seen them personally, but my understanding from my staff is people are doing that.
That people are reaching out to you and offering to help pay for his legal bills.
Bunch of losers.
That's correct.
You're a loser if you do that.
Loser! You're a loser!
Just being honest.
Would you accept those offers? I mean, I imagine you maybe have.
Loser!
I don't know.
You're a
Have
loser!
you ever gotten that before?
Nah, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't.
Why do you think you would not accept that?
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable about that. So I don't know.
Oh, but you'll take the case of a murderer and gaslight us. I'm comfortable with that because of the money.
I haven't given that much thought, but I'm not looking. You know, I mean, obviously my client appreciates the support that he has, but I don't know. I just I'd have to look in, but it just doesn't sit right with me, really.
Oh, that doesn't sit right. Now you're the moral police.
Why do you think they're offering?
I don't know. People, you talk about, the Supreme Court says, all these rich billionaires can give all kind of money to candidates, and that's free speech. So maybe these people are exercising.
Oh, so now we're doing a conspiracy podcast with this lunatic.
Their right to free speech and saying that's the way they're supporting my client.
The 26-year-old is facing several charges, including murder. He's accused of allegedly killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
We know.
Who was fatally shot in New York City last Wednesday. Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, custody.
I've been telling people all day to use their common sense. Here's a young man who's, apparently going to be or has been charged with a very serious, one of the most serious offenses a person could be charged with. He's in prison without bail, as you previously mentioned.
I think Diddy should have hired this guy. This guy's a little better spoken than that stupid lawyer of Diddy's.
And so, I think common sense would say, he's concerned.
On Tuesday, Mangione had an outburst, shouting at reporters as he was led into a Pennsylvania.
All right. So there's that going on. They're just going to recap what the other news said. Police presence beefed up at that McDonald's, and people are giving it 1 out of 5 reviews. Bunch of losers. The McDonald's that he got caught at. And I'm going to load up a video of him being the life of the party. Chugging a beer on his head. Smashing it on his head. That'd be pretty hard to do. Smashing an open beer on his head. Chugging it and chugging it and chugging it. Oh, he's so wild and crazy. You don't know what Luke Mangione might do. He might just kill you in cold blood. You just never know. But let's romanticize him. Bunch of weird Gen Z girls. He definitely has brain damage. It's showing him like whacking the beer against his head. Yeah, let's get brain damage from drinking beer. I went through that in the 20s. So there's him drinking a beer. It's on him. Oh, this is interesting here, finally. Ex-FBI profiler says that there were a lot of mistakes that Luke Mangione did. The biggest one was probably the one where he was flirting with the girl.
I worked in New York City in the FBI for 7 years, late 80s through mid 90s.
Oh, name drop.
Worked with some great detectives. They have great investigators there. The FBI itself, the worker bees, they know what they're doing. So when they joined forces, I knew it was only a matter of time. But when it went past 3 days and even 4 days, I'm thinking, okay, I don't believe our shooter is a criminal mastermind of some sort.
Yeah, he's a dumb 26-year-old entitled Gen Z kid.
He wouldn't be using that weapon, not that style of weapon, to shoot and kill someone. And it seemed almost sort of sophomoric or juvenile to write little messages on bullets. I mean, people write them on missiles.
Yeah, that's a good point. But there's some people that think that's inspirational. Watch out for them.
In war zones, things like that. I know that may be where he got his idea. But I broke it down in within the first few hours of it happening. This was either personal, it was professional, or it was ideological.
What do you make of the fact that...
All right, let me look this up here. Ideological meaning. Relating to principles or beliefs. Got it.
He still had, if this person of interest turns out to be the shooter, still had, in addition to having the manifesto, but still had the gun with him. Honestly, as I was listening to all the details over the weekend, I assumed that gun had been thrown somewhere in Central Park.
Right, in the water.
A little needle in the haystack or in one of the lakes there.
Oh, sure.
But what do you make of the fact that he still had it with him?
Yeah, I said early on, this killer was mission oriented. He wanted to accomplish this task. Now, being mission oriented at the same time doesn't mean you're necessarily criminally sophisticated. And this guy was more lucky than anything in terms of his egress from Midtown Manhattan.
All right, I have that saying, if I'm bored, you are bored.
Happy hour. Happy hour.